Okay, hi again. Today I have some notes because the topic is quite complex, and I cannot just stand up here and talk off the top of my head. What is the topic today? It is what parents can do to prepare their kid for successfully for adult life. It should be the frame, like a list of major points which we can later compare. In my case, what happened to me in my life regarding these points, but also what you can, how you can reflect what happened to your life. So it might help to do this a little structured. So I have decided on 4 points. Of course, these 4 are certainly not all the points which are possible, but I think this should be enough for covering the main aspects of growing up successfully or being prepared successfully for later life. 4 points, as I said. The first one is what I call imprinting. It mainly has to do with the genetic predispositions which we have, like what our parents could give us genetically. And there, of course, there's the first thing. If we have good genes, it's good. It's advantageous. If we don't have hereditary diseases or gene defects, which we have to deal with, it certainly is an advantage. But from that, to put it on a more simple level, what do I get genetically from my parents or grandparents and so on? Yeah, we all remember the Mendelssohn laws. Yeah, but simply said, the first thing which, when we are young, what is important is how we look. So, of course, the genetic predisposition also has influence on our looks. Do we look okay, or rather not? How is our physical and mental constitution? That's another point. I mean, how do we look? How is our body? How is our constitution and our mental setup? We can. It's not our fault. We just inherit it. Therefore, it's important that, in the optimal case, that it's positive, strong, and good. Then the next thing is the intellectual potential which we have gotten in our genes, got with our genes. Are we hopefully above 100? The more the better, I'm not sure, but we should have a good intellectual capacity to work with. What we do with it is another question. Then the next thing, did we inherit advantageous personality traits? I mean, there's discussion if you can inherit that, but let's just argue for now that we can. And therefore, it's good if we do have some traits, personality traits, which are positive, okay? And then psychological predisposition is also a point in case. Are we okay? Are we balanced as personalities, or do we have some defects or some I don't know, unusual behavior traits which is not our fault, but we have them inherited? Okay, that's that. Then let's go to the second point. Second point, I wrote down a functioning home. Of course, if we have a functioning home, life is easier for us. So in the optimal sense, we want to have a functioning home where there is security, a sense of feeling secureness, not having to be afraid or insecure, as I said. Do we get care and attention in our home? Are we valued? Are we loved? Very important. Another important aspects is continuity. From birth till we leave home, is there continuity or not? We don't need necessarily traumatic experiences during the process of growing up, like divorce or, abuse or alcoholism or whatever. Another thing is, do we have clear structures, order, a good organization in our home? Are there rules and principles of procedures which we learn while living at home? Of course, parents have an influence on that, and therefore I mentioned it. The next point is, do we live or do we have the advantage of living in a certain affluence? If you're poor, it seems to be more difficult to grow up than if you're living in an affluent home. If it's better is a different question. But again, looking at the optimal case, I argue that to live in a certain type, affluence, it's advantageous. How peaceful, how placid are the surroundings, how much do we not miss anything? Okay. And, of course, that we have a feeling of belonging, of being valued, of being affiliated, of being part of. Not feeling alone, not feeling lonely, not feeling pushed away. Important thing. The third point of the four I defined is what the parents specifically can give me or us as kids. The first thing is upbringing and nurturing. Okay, that's the education of the parents, the informal education they give us while we are living at home. I wrote down here, can we learn from our parents how to behave in different situations, how to behave right, how to behave so that we have advantages and not problems due to the fact that we behave in a certain way. Another point is self-presentation. Do we learn how to present ourselves? Do we have a sense for cleanliness, a sense for being well-groomed, some taste, what we should wear with what we have? And did we learn or do we learn to be friendly and courteous, to be helpful to others? Here, friendliness and being open to other people in a positive way, it is actually a sign of intelligence, because if you're friendly, if you learn and have learned how to behave in a certain situation, and being friendly is a sign of intelligence, because everything is easier if you are able to do this. Okay, what else do I have here? The ability to communicate, of course. Have I learned to say things clearly and concisely, that people can understand what I mean? Can I use refined wording? Do I have the ability to differentiate through a good command of the language? And do I have the ability to listen? Have I learned from my parents in my home that listening is as important, if not more important, than talking, and also to take in what I'm listening to understand what I'm listening to? Because, of course, when I listen, I learn much more about the situation around me from other people than if I talk all the time. Task management is another point, in fact. Have I learned, or have my parents given me the possibility to learn how to act, to set myself a goal, to plan or schedule the steps that lead to the fulfillment of the goal, the target. Have I learned to act, even if it's sometimes not easy, and to conclude a project? I mean, many people talk a lot about plans and goals and dreams and wishes, but if they don't know how to fulfill them, how to go about it to fulfill this, or to conclude this, or to finish this, it's not good. What else have I here? Yeah, problem solving. I mean, have I learned how it works and how I can go about solving a problem? You know, looking at the problem, looking at the causes, checking as how much can I influence the causes, then taking action, and then checking in as far as I'm able and can influence is what I did right, what I have to do again, what I can do better, and so on. Okay, learning to make decisions. Okay, it's also, have I learned in my home and from my parents how to make decisions. That, of course, requires that I know what's good and bad for me, for the people around me, and that I have the strength to say, yes, I want this, yes, I do this, or no, I don't want this, or no, I refrain from it. Very important. I think I see many people who cannot make decisions on their own, so they depend on others, and so they can be manipulated, of course. Another point is, have my parents focused on providing me not only with their informal education, but with formal education? Do they give me the opportunity to go to school, to remain in school, to be successful in school, maybe to go to higher school, to university? Or did they leave it open for me what I choose, but that they gave me the possibility, the opportunity to attend schools or to learn something special? What I did with this, what I do with this as a kid is a different question again, but do my parents give me the opportunity? Another thing is, do they give me the chance to make my own, to live out my own experiences? Or do they always sit on top of me and say, you have to do this, you have to do that, and if you do this, then I support you. If you don't do it, then I kick you out. Did they or do they create conditions in which I can make my own experiences and therefore can grow and develop further? Okay, these are the points, in fact. Of course, they are not all, as I said, but on the basis of these 4 points, I want to look at my own life in the next video and see in as much these 4 points were fulfilled or not fulfilled in my case. Not what I did with them, how I utilized them, but only how, from my present point of view, I think that my parents gave me the frame for a good, easy and successful life. Okay, thanks for listening. If you got something out of it, please use it for yourself. Check critically, constructively how it was in your case. Give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you what you think about what I'm doing here. Okay? Thanks, and until the next time. Bye.